Hello. I'm so happy to have you here. This is so much fun. So much
It's
fun.
always lovely connecting with you.
And as with you, my brother. Um, so, again, we're having another one of our live discussions. Um, and again, I usually, at the beginning of each one, I kind of just quickly give a little verbiage about why I do this, what's going on. So, of course, the main reason for doing these discussions like we are is that there are so many people that are consistently looking for something that resonates with them to help them, however that looks, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, for maintenance, for going forward spiritually. Perhaps they have an illness. There's just so many things that need to be addressed out in the collective right now. So the whole idea is that I have many people that I'm working with that are coming on here to explain what it is that they do in order to help everybody so that they know going forward. If there's things that they've tried or things that they're not aware of, maybe there's something new and they'll go, oh, you know what? Hey, that works. I really want to try that. I want to reach out to them. So again, that's the main reason for holding these. We have Vedanta here from Nirvanic Naturals, who's actually a very close friend of mine. Vedanta and I met, I'm going to say 3 or 4 years ago, give or take. Um, we met through a friend of mine, my sister Rosemary, um, and it just kind of went from there. And I remember, I still to this day, I still feel so bad when Vedanta had a friend of his who was actually. We were at a retreat, and she was there with his products, kind of explaining what it is and whatnot. And when I heard that this product was going to be there prior to the retreat, of course, I was very curious. I just felt very pulled to it for some reason. Never heard of it, knew nothing about it. I was pulled to go and look at it. Oh, and sorry, my Pearl, my bird, just wants to chime in here for a minute. In any event, so I started doing research prior to the retreat. So I had an idea what it was before going. Of course, Vedanta's friend was there. She was very knowledgeable. But of course, I had gone the extra mile because I learned about, the scientists and the Nobel Peace Prize and all these platforms that were showing these amazing things that this formula is does for people, which we'll get into. So, anyways, and of course, poor Joe was so nervous to begin with, and of course, here I am. Oh yeah, because I knew about that, but what about this and this? Oh, you know what? And this, I know this happened in 1985, and poor Joe was going, okay, even I don't know that information. So that was kind of my. That was actually just before I'd met you. That was. It was Joe that was there. You couldn't make it, but yeah, I've always felt very connected to the C60. I mean, it's right from the get go before I even knew what it was. So here is Vedanta. He has working with, I would say, the base formula, but he has created a formula, in my opinion, that far surpasses that of which was originally created, which he'll get into when he starts to talk about it and the background of it, and then going forward with him. Um, Vedanta has always been immersed in a scientific research, medicine, healthcare, about 15 years. Um, and as time has gone on, he's gotten closer to realizing that there's a little more purpose to the journey that he's on in this lifetime than the work that he was doing, although the great work that he was doing. But going forward, as many of us realize, as the spiritual path opens up, we start to realize that there's more than what we're doing at that present time. He was involved with a hospital, which again he's going to get more into his explanation of what he did and a little bit of his education and that type of thing. But he just got to the point where he just knew um, there's something he's more passionate about. There's something more there. So, Vedanta, why don't you take it away from there and kind of fill us in a little about who Vedanta is, his humble beginnings.
Oh, beginnings. You know, I'd like to talk a little about paradigms and where we're at right now before I even introduce myself and try and introduce everyone to how I fit into the picture and how we fit into the same picture together. But right now, we are stepping into a paradigm that's a lot more about empowerment, about decentralization, about community building, strengthening community ties, being able to tap into the expertise each one of us within the community has. So a simple example is, even until a decade ago, we turned to the FDA and Health Canada for guidelines, recommendations, and advice about the type of diet we need to have, what to eat for breakfast, how many calories to consume, what's healthy, what's not healthy. But now we're in the awareness that what we uniquely need as individuals is very different from what we are being told we need. But when we get together in the community, there are nutritionists, naturopaths, intuitive healers, those who are herbalists and have a lot of information, knowledge about herbs, plants, vegetables, supplements, supplementation, different energetic practices to tap into that cosmic life force energy that we could all connect to stronger. And hence, we're able to tap into the collective intelligence of the community members to get the answers, the guidance we're looking for, we're seeking. So that's what I mean by decentralization. Looking to an institution outside of ourselves as a centralized top-down way of passing forth information, but to look laterally within our circle as decentralization. So I came from a paradigm of centralization. Okay, I I was studious in school. I respected the institution of academia, of education. I got my PhD in medical biophysics. Then I respected the institution of medical scientific research, uh, where we did a lot of research on cancer, genetic engineering, cloning, doing multiple assays, working with small animal models to test different therapeutics to assess their effectiveness, not just in context of cancer, but also neurodegenerative conditioning and learning and memory too, cognition in general. After doing this for a few years, the cracks in the system start to show. And that's when we realize there's too much of a difference in a value system we hold to be able to feel fulfilled and content in a centralized institutional system. So after having that experience for 8 years, I transitioned to the field of healthcare, where I worked in the field of organ and tissue donation and transplantation to be able to help restore the gift of sight to those who are visually impaired by recovering, by performing surgical recovery of ocular tissue, which could then be transplanted. So I did this for 8 years until that centralized institution no longer nurtured my soul. And that's when I turned to showcasing that which is unique to what I have to offer, which is avenues and access to new decentralized paradigms of health and wellness, body, mind, spirit, with the scientific backing for those who are needing to be able to quench their thirst for knowledge, along with intuitive guidance. So that's a little about my background. That's a little about where I'm at and what I believe my purpose is now in our community.
Yeah, I do recall actually a conversation when you were just at that point and you were ready to um, leave the full time job behind, right? And venture off into, you know, to moving forward on a journey that you knew you were being called to. I do recall we were kind of, because I kind of had done the same thing, but I had already done it and I was in the same place. It's kind of a scary thing when you think about it. It's like you got a full time job, you got a full time income, everything's flowing that way, even though it's not flowing energetically with you. I do remember us having a couple of those conversations. A few of us were having those, but I do remember that time.
I'm very grateful and appreciative of your guidance, your wisdom, and your gentle encouragement to nudge me in the right direction, knowing fully well what it feels like to be at that fork in the road.
Yeah, yeah. No, and thank you. I appreciate your comment. Again, it just was just us talking and me sharing, right? In terms of what, I'd already done it, so I totally got it. Um, so going forward, um, it's one of those things where you got to a point, and I remember because I remember talking to you, and you'd taken the plunge, and I was like, yeah, because I already saw that it was happening, right? So it was like, come on, just do it, just do it, just do it. But it was one of those things that But I know you did at some point. You were kind of you're of the mind thought as well, having your cake and eat it too, type of thing. So can you explain kind of what you meant in terms of having both worlds?
Yeah, what caused me a lot of anxiety while at that crossroad was the notion of having to pick one versus the other, where you either go left or you go right, and you have to give something up to get something in addition in its place. And having to choose and hence take that leap of faith causes a fair bit of anxiety. But we're in a whole different paradigm. It's not about polarity. It's not about either or. We really can have it all. We can have our cake and eat it too. We are present in multiple dimensions at the same time. We are having different perspectives of the same experience simultaneously. So when we are stepping into new paradigm, if you adopt the mindset, the abundance mindset, the ability to conceive of it all and have it all, the way I anchored that was by carving out time to focus and build more of what it is I wanted in the way forward, while still retaining everything that served me and provided a strong foundation without giving it more energy than it needed. Because sometimes we can put 120% into something that doesn't necessarily serve us. And so a good step is to just put 100%. So you're still honoring your integrity, your value system, you're fulfilling the mutually agreed upon commitment while carving out that extra 20% towards that which flows effortlessly and is more of a free energy device for the soul.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more. Most definitely. Um, yeah, it's one of those things where, ultimately, in a lot of ways, doing what we do, it does kind of come down to we typically do end up making that decision. It's got to be A or B, right? When you get to that point, as you're enlightening and starting to realize, in a lot of cases, sometimes there's people that they're not necessarily meant to do. They're just meant to heal and clean out those energies. Because as you know, right now, this is such a crazy time energetically. It's what's playing out, and we're seeing it. The crime. I've never in Ontario in my life, and I'm 58, and I've never seen what I'm seeing every day come up with robberies, murders. There was just another one, two teenage girls, something with public transport or something. Another situation. It's just ongoing. We could talk about that. That's a whole other topic. But of course, and a lot of what's playing out is a lot of things that people are carrying these energies, and they're carrying a lot of things that, again, another whole topic, but there is so much that needs to change. And we have to start with ourselves, is really what it boils down to. Um, so, we'll get into talking about the C-60 because it's something that I have now been taking for, I'm going to say, at least 3 years. And I take it every night without fail, unless there's the odd night I go away or something and I forget. But and I'll get into some of that in terms of how it's helped me. But I stand by it. You know that. I connect with it. I stand by it. It's just one of those products that before I even knew you, just looking into it, I just felt this. I don't know why. I still don't know what that was, but in any event, so yeah. How about you starting with? Let's start off with what made you like what? How did? Well, let me rephrase that. How did you come upon this and decide what you were going to do? Because your formula, in my opinion, should be the Nobel Prize now as well. Like it's what you've done with it and how healthy it is crazy.
You're very kind. Thank you, Mother Owl. But
Mm-hmm.
what I do want to iterate is that everything we really need to be in a state of balance exists naturally.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about coming into that harmonic resonance to be able to tap into the physical, material manifestation of that
Yeah.
harmonic resonance and balance. And so it was an intuitive insight, it was a download that I received about a certain molecule that had these beautiful biophysical characteristics, these beautiful biochemical characteristics. And it's like little hints were being revealed to me one step at a time, until I came across the real molecule itself, the C60, the carbon 60 molecule. And then when I was able to obtain some, it started guiding me on what the next step had to be, how it wanted to be made accessible, what its purpose was over here. It's a very sentient, conscious intelligence that's about bringing in free energy in ways the body can utilize it to heal itself, the mind can utilize it to come into balance and awareness, and to anchor the new paradigms coming through. So the scientists who discovered C60, they were given the Nobel Prize in 1996 because of the magnitude of the discovery. And at the time, they didn't know about its frequency, quantum properties, or benefits. They just knew about what it did on a purely chemical level, which was quite remarkable.
And yeah, and in fact, and like when I looked it all up and read about, it was like 11 years from the time they discovered it, which was an accident. Apparently, they were not seeking this out. This formula they came upon kind of happened, right?
Yeah,
So, and it was 11 years before they actually got the recognition they deserved for it, right? On that aspect.
that's usually how science tends to go, or art for that matter. It takes one or two generations after the artist's time for them to be recognized and celebrated as being geniuses. But as far as the scientific breakthrough was concerned, it wasn't until 2012 when a group of scientists in France discovered that subjects that took C60 lived to be almost twice as old as the ones that did not. So the test subjects that got C60, they experienced a doubling in their lifespan. And that's one of those fantastic aha moments because that accomplishment in science was absolutely groundbreaking. Because we're not talking about spirit science or energetic science. This is demonstrable, quantifiable, measurable. And that's when there was a lot of excitement amongst the anti aging researchers, but also amongst anti cancer researchers. Because the test subjects that got C60, well, none of them developed cancer. Whereas those that did not, almost all of them died from different types of cancers, but particularly cancer of the stomach. So that's when it got a whole lot of light shown on it. And scientists found that C60 is 172 times more powerful than vitamin C. It's able to fight and neutralize a lot of negatively charged toxic allergens, chemicals in our food, in our air, water, and hence is able to prevent mutations from taking place in our DNA and can ward off cancer. even those who have different types of illnesses, not just brain fog and anxiety and depression, but also autoimmune disease like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, rheumatoid arthritis, and those who have inflammatory skin conditions like eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, those with diagnosis of cancer or chronic kidney disease or liver failure. Consuming C60 in a particular protocol with the right type of additional supplements can be game changing.
Yeah, it is absolutely amazing. As I said, it's one of those things that, so you essentially got some downloads in terms of moving forward with this, and creating this formula. So I know you originally you started out with the original formula, did you not? With the olive oil as opposed to the avocado oil base.
Yes, so earlier I started off with olive oil and C60, just kept it very simple. And then as the months went by, there was a lot more magic that had to be brought in. We were guided to switch it to avocado oil, which is more absorbable by the skin because avocado oil can be difficult for many people to digest. And when you
Tastes better too. Sorry to interrupt, but I prefer the taste of avocado oil over olive oil.
Yes, it can cause digestive issues in some people when consumed. And when applied on the skin, it doesn't get absorbed too well. So we switched to avocado oil. But around then, we were also guided to include coenzyme Q10 in the formulation because it's another antioxidant that our body produces that's very beneficial for health. And as we experience states of disease or unease, our body's ability to make coenzyme Q10, CoQ10 for short, decreases. So we added CoQ10 to the avocado oil and the C60. And then I remember the conversation we had, yourself, your soul sister Rosemary, and I. And then there was a sense that Shilajit needed to be included because it is also a fantastic, magical supplement derived from eons of traditional Indian Ayurvedic medicinal practices. And so we introduced Shilajit in the formulation too, and now it's a triple antioxidant blend powerhouse.
It is. It absolutely. As I said to you, and all we joke about it, but I mean, where'd you go? There you are. Essentially, we joke about it, but honestly, I don't know what this connection is that I have, but um, yeah, it's been pretty profound. And I mean, even just talking a little bit about, early on, but what I'm going to say about 3 years ago, you kind of did a bunch of tests, and Rose and I partook in that with various other people at different times, which I found very profound. Can you talk a little bit about those lab tests where we came in and actually were working with you and just so people know, started taking, or did we? At least I think we'd already started taking the C60 by then, right? We were taking it in the morning, and we found because it was doing such wondrous things with our body that we were tired. Right? We were feeling tired. We switched to taking it at night for a while, which I do all the time anyways now. But can you explain a little bit about that? What was happening then when we first started taking it? So for people that will get the product, they'll maybe understand, the difference when you first start taking it.
Right. Now, while science has very well characterized what C60 does on a physical level, and how it impacts our cellular processes, our biological rhythm, its true gift and magic has to do with its quantum healing properties. Okay? So, what I mean by that is when we co create with a quantum healing ally that is C60, it's able to read our body like a book, it's able to read our psyche and identify exactly where we are in terms of our optimal health and what we need to bridge the gap if we aren't there yet. So for some people who work long hours, who are very stressed, have a very active thinking mind, and have a million commitments on the go, people who are there for everybody in their inner circle, no questions asked, and offer a lot of support, C60 might identify that what they need most is rest and sleep. So even if it's at 2 in the afternoon that you take your C60, if you fit that bill, you're going to be drowsy and you're going to want to take a nap, because the first medicine you need is that of restful sleep. But once you catch up on that sleep debt, then it's going to start encouraging the cells in your body to produce and make available a lot more energy. So now, once you're past the resting stage, when you take your C60, you're going to have a surge of energy to do all the things that serve your highest good. So you can manifest and radiate your gifts within your community to your fullest capacity. So it does strike that fine balance.
Yeah, like I said, I remember having to switch out because I was like, why am I so tired when I take this in the morning? Because I get up, take my regular, all my vitamins, right? And take the C60, and okay, it has to be the C60 because I've never felt this before. And for a while, it wasn't like a few days. I mean, for the first little while, we switched to taking it at night for a while because we just felt very tired. I mean, we weren't passing out, but I mean, we felt very tired, right?
Mhm.
So it was one of those things where I was like, okay, so we'll switch it up. So now it's habit. I just have it right there on my bedside table. I just do it before I go to bed, and I know I don't forget it.
Yeah.
So that's my routine now. But
Some people believe it's going to make them sleepy and they take it at night and it keeps them wide awake.
yeah, well, I'm good that way. I can sleep, but
So when you start by taking it in the morning and afternoon,
yeah.
see how the body responds, and then you can adjust it to either keeping it in the morning and afternoon or taking it at night. But in terms of what we did at the lab, that was a pretty fantastic experience.
It was bizarre. Oh my goodness. It was wild.
So just to give a bit of a background, uh, even after I left the field of scientific research, where I worked with a bunch of research institutions and hospitals, I did continue doing research at an independent lab, which was more conscious. So the type of research I worked on had to do with consciousness-based research. The specific hypothesis was to validate the phenomena of non-localized communication. What that means is telepathy, the ability for us to communicate just by virtue of focused thought and intention without having to use words, without being in close proximity to be able to communicate using body language. And so the way the experiment was set up was by growing brain cells from a mouse on a crystal surface. This crystal was then connected using very sensitive electrodes. It was connected to a device that was able to measure the brain waves, so to speak, while there was active focus being uh, sent towards the mouse neurons. And because C60 is such a quantum tool, when we connect and equilibrate our energetics to that of the frequency of C60, we are more able to connect with one another from a higher perspective. And so I had invited Mother Owl and her soul sister, Rosemary, Sister Goldenrod, to kindly participate in the experiment because we were seeking some powerful psychic intuitive individuals, and both of you certainly topped the list. And so the request was to sit for 15 minutes in close proximity to the experimental setup with the neurons and to connect with the neurons and
Ah,
to bless it with a lot of deep connection, peace, harmony, and see whether the instruments picked up that connection and were able to record the strength of the connection. And yes, C-60 was present in the room to harmonize the space and act as a bridge too. So thank you again for participating in that groundbreaking experiment.
it, well, thank you. I mean, it was a beautiful experiment. I remember bits of it, but I do remember Rose and I having almost the exact same type of connection, a little variance, but for the most part, and connecting, we saw the mouse. The only difference was I saw a gray mouse. She saw, I think, a black mouse or something. I think there was a couple little variations, but literally, I saw this mouse what looked like it was like diving into, if I remember correctly, like diving into, like it was a pool of C-60 or something, or I don't remember, but I just remember connecting with this mouse and having it recognize that we see it, and having it, just seeing it, connecting with it, and it was, yeah, it was absolutely amazing. I was like, wow, that is so. There's no mouse here, but I'm connecting with a mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. And thank you, because it was an experience as well that was very interesting, very intriguing, very interesting.
It was spectacular how you and Rosemary both had very similar visions and downloads, even though you did your session with the neurons independent of each other.
Yeah.
You took turns. You went first, and then Rosemary went second, but what you both received was very similar.
Yeah, it was almost, other than, like I said, there was a few variances, but it was almost identical in
Right.
terms of what the connection and everything else. So yeah, it was beautiful. It was very profound, even for us. It was like,
Yeah.
wow, that was crazy.
And
Crazy
the
beautiful.
instruments were able to record that connection being established with not just each other, but also with the neurons that were growing on the crystal surface.
Yeah, C-60. People just don't realize just how beautiful and how profound
Yeah.
this
But
formula
that's a
is.
beautiful thing. It's coming into people's awareness in a very organic manner, right?
Yeah.
There's no one out there with a bullhorn trying to draw people's attention to it. All of the scientific studies are published. They're available online demonstrating the doubling of lifespan, the anti-cancer properties. It's all right there. And yet it's such a secret because we need to be able to connect with the consciousness of C-60 to anchor the vibration, get a glimpse of it before we co-create with it on a deeper level. And so as the consciousness of the planet increases with more and more people coming to states of empowerment, self-inquiry, all of the tools needed to further that path will automatically manifest. And hence this discussion right now, right here.
Yes, I agree, 100%. We're usually on each other's page. Very, very little that we don't agree on when it comes to, especially C-60. Um, Now you have, okay, so originally it was started, the C-60, the original formulation back in the 80s, when it was originally founded, was, or created, was olive oil and C-60, but that's it, right? Whereas your formula that you have come upon, which again I love, with the minerals and all of the properties within this formula, as you've been explaining, are profound and very beautiful. Because you have the CoQ10, you have Shilajit, you have C-60, and of course the olive oil, or sorry, the avocado oil, which are all different properties of what many people take individually in
Mm-hmm.
different ways, right? So you've got this all together doing what it's doing, which is yeah, it's beautiful. Like I said, I've been taking it now 3 years. It's got to be
Yeah.
3 years.
But what's most important for us and what's most unique about what we do
Mhm.
is all the C-60 out there is derived from a lab. It's synthesized, it's produced chemically. We are the only group that actually includes Natural C-60 in our elixirs.
Okay. I didn't know that.
It's very special. And I'll give you an example. You could look at an airplane, right? You look at a plane, it's got the wings, got the tail, it's got a cylindrical shape for the most part, and it flies. And you might assume, let me carve that exact shape out of wood. And since it looks the same, it should function the same. It should fly in a similar manner. And you can carve a piece of wood into the shape of a plane, and as identical as it might look, it will not fly. And that's an analogy I like to use when it comes to the difference between natural C60 and lab formulated synthesized C60. You can put all of the right chemicals and elements in the right places, and you will get a similar looking molecule. But when you're working with the quantum field, it comes down to frequency and energetics. The natural C60 we get is from the Himalayas, which is the crown chakra of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So it is attuned to the frequency of wisdom, of balance.
Mm.
And including the natural C60 as part of the formulation, that's what brings the energetics and makes it accessible for us to leverage on our ascension path. So while there's the CoQ10, the Shilajit, the C60, and the avocado oil, it's the natural Himalayan C60 that makes all the difference.
Yeah, that's an excellent explanation. I think I knew a bit about that, but yeah, but even I'm learning tonight. Even as much as I know, obviously I still have a lot to learn with this beautiful, 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 beautiful um, formula that you have created. It's beautiful. So when so you have so you sell the C60 itself. So the original. So let's just start with the original, the kit the saturation kit that you sell, which comes with 3 bottles and the dropper, right? As well as the dosage. So what in terms of, so if I was looking at the infographic sheet, I guess is what I'm kind of getting to, that infographic sheet. What is it that you would like to get out there so people understand just the benefits of this? Maybe in relation to the information that is shown on that sheet.
Right. So fundamentally, it strives to bring our body and mind in a state of harmony and balance. Okay. So if someone's got chronic inflammatory conditions, okay, if they've got, like I gave some examples earlier, autoimmune, rheumatoid arthritis, or lupus, or they've got irritable bowel syndrome, or Crohn's, or liver disease, kidney disease, when they start taking C60, C60 will start helping flush out all of the toxins from the body. And then it starts helping to repair the damaged cells and damaged tissues so that these organs and organ systems start functioning better. And as it starts healing on a cellular level, it starts increasing how much energy is produced. So we have a lot more energy to function with through the day. On a mental level, so if you don't have any physical health conditions, when you start taking C60 diligently, you can improve your meditation practice. And even for those who don't meditate, they will notice that the peace of mind, the stillness of thought, the space between thoughts gets bigger and bigger. So you spend a lot more time in the comfort and relaxation of stillness, just focused on breath and pure awareness, recognizing there's not much to do, but there's everything to be. And of course, it's from that space that there's a lot of manifestation, inspiration, creative expression, synchronicity. When our body, a mind, our spirit is in
Excuse me.
bless you,
Thank you.
then everything we need just comes into our field of awareness. So you don't have to be unwell in any which way to want to start taking the triple antioxidant C60 blend we make.
No, you know what? It makes me think back to when we first started taking the C60. Um, I remember, having. Um, I'm just trying to think back now because I do. When you were talking about that, I was thinking back to when I first started taking it, and literally within a very short span of time, we're talking minutes of taking it, you could feel very connected. And even sometimes the dreams, because I turned it into taking it at night. The dream state was so clear, so clear. The clarity was there, and you could feel within 5 minutes type of thing, connection. The connective properties taking it in that first few minutes. We're not even talking half an hour, 45 minutes, like the
Mm.
pharmaceuticals. Oh, you get for 45 minutes and, it'll work or whatever. I mean, you're talking minutes. And I'm sure everybody's different size, height, weight, whatever. But I mean, I know for me, it was a very short time, very short
It
time.
also comes down to how big or how small the bridge that connects the body and mind and spirit is. So if you're already connected in that space of stillness and harmony, you feel it faster. But taking it diligently helps to strengthen that connection until you don't need it anymore.
Well, as you were talking about the anti-inflammatory, of course, I for the most part, I'd say I'm pretty healthy. The only thing I do have, if I have, I don't know, you can probably see it on my hands. I do have, like 2 or 3 fingers on each hand. That I do have arthritis in those top joints, and it's only in two on one hand and three on the other, but enough, and it bothers me because those joints are fairly swollen. And right from the get go, as I'd said to you, it's been amazing because when I don't take it, I make a cream that I have to quickly get on it for, and but that takes like 2 or 3 applications in a 24-hour span, and then it works wonderfully. But with the C60, as long as I'm taking it regularly, and I can go with, if I, for some reason, say I went away for a few days and had forgotten it and I didn't take it for 2 or 3 days, I'm usually okay. You get into 4 or 5 days, that's when I really start to notice I'm starting to feel it again. Like I wouldn't be able to do this. There's no way if I wasn't taking it regularly like I am.
Right.
Because it's even though it looks inflamed, obviously, however that C60 is working, is it's quite good. Even the hair growth, as I said to you, it was an ongoing thing, and it still is. The hair growth piece. I always used to say, I love growing hair, but is there something you can do about these little rooster pieces? I'm gonna spray those down because you get these little new growth as it gets to that point, right? It doesn't lay down. But okay, well, it's working, but
Those with male pattern baldness, any hair that they can get is prized and valued and appreciated. And so a lot of clients do apply C60 on their scalp at least 3 times a week to help with hair growths. Uh, a lot of clients apply it on the face every night before bed because it helps reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. It hydrates and moisturizes the skin. It decreases acne by 80% as per one Japanese study. It does some really wonderful things, but let's also touch upon the fact that it works phenomenally well on pets and small animals. I'll give you an example. A number of them actually. Uh, a 12-year-old dog that's got arthritis and is unwell. Within a couple of days of taking C60, the little guy is now on his feet running around like a puppy again. There was
oh, I
another
believe it.
dog, 13 or 14 years old. with hip dysplasia and couldn't climb upstairs anymore. Within a few days, she was able to go upstairs again. And most recently, I received a message from a client in LA, and her cat, her 16-year-old cat, suddenly started having seizures every day for a week. And she didn't know what to do. So she just intuitively decided to give the cat C-60, her own C-60. And within one day, after taking just one big dose, all the seizures stopped. And even
Wow.
for a week after, no more seizures.
It's so profound, the things that, I mean, and the lists are endless. Like I said, the forums that I looked at, and we don't have enough time to even touch on only some of the main things that people really look for. But I mean, it can be applied topically for several reasons, you know, as well as orally. Um, it's not limiting that way. And then he does, as Vedanta was expressing, he also has a formulation now called Pet Elixir that many people are now getting for their pets for several reasons, as he's expressed. So he has a saturation kit with 3 bottles that can be used in so many ways, so many ways. The Pet Elixir. Is there anything else that you wanted to add to
There's
that?
also the CBD C-60,
Yeah.
because there are a lot of people who are experiencing pain, um, joint pain, insomnia, anxiety, or even withdrawal symptoms while trying to honor the body and adopt a healthier lifestyle, be it by virtue of quitting smoking, reducing or quitting their cannabis intake, alcohol consumption, or even for those who are getting off of pain medication that's become an unhealthy dependence. Taking the CBD C-60 takes the edge off of the side effects of withdrawal while promoting gentle detox because of the C-60 and a lot more calm and peace, better sleep, better appetite because of the CBD, freedom from pain because of the CBD. And the
And that can
C-60,
also be topically applied, right?
absolutely, it
I
can
mean,
be
that's
applied
a great.
topically, sure. Um, there's a lot more nuances and information that can be found on the website, but the one thing I'd like to emphasize is to tap into the quantum properties of C-60. The physical health benefits will be appreciated in no time. But at the end of the day, when our physical body is healthier and more finely tuned, that's when more of our consciousness can be anchored in the physical body. And so our objective really is about being that beacon. So it's about focusing on a meditation practice, manifesting our prayers, spending time in stillness and silence, and connecting with members of our community, not just by virtue of words and actions, but by sheer presence and goodwill.
Beautifully said. Most definitely. Most definitely. Yeah. As I said, this C-60, we could talk another hour about it all. There's so much um, to this in so many ways for so many people. But I think we've touched on a lot of what the majority look for in terms of how it helps. Vedanta does have a website, and when we put this video out, it should be out within a few days. And when we do that, the link will be provided to you to reach out to his website. Um, as I said, this is something that um, any of us that know this product, we all stand behind it. Um, Vedanta is a very loving, nurturing, passionate soul, and he does what he does with the main purpose of helping others in terms of going forward in whatever way he can. So it's one of those things that, um, yeah, it's It's beautiful. Like I said, I'm speechless because it just I don't think you could ever learn enough about this. There's always something new. Samantha had mentioned she's been on here. Actually, I had my window shut down here, but she just said we just need to resonate at the frequency we are trying to attract. And of course, as agreed, I'm sure as we went along in a few of these things, um, she's been here diligent with us in terms of uh, in terms of learning about this product that is absolutely filled with love and healing and quantum physics and so many things. Um, is there anything else that you can think of, Vedanta, that we might have missed that you'd like to express?
No, that sums it all up.
So there is, if you go to Vedanta's website, there is he has infographic sheets, and a lot of that type of information is on the website. There are testimonials from people that have used it for different reasons. Um, and I mean, essentially, you can go in, you can order it, and have it sent directly to you. Um, you know, however that looks.
Yeah, but also, C60 is such a big subject. We can only scratch the surface.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
even for those who are interested in having a conversation and learning more, you're welcome to hop on the website. There's a contacts form over there. Drop us a line, and from time to time we do consults um, with those who'd like to know how C60 could help their specific condition, and we help customize a dosage protocol to help them
Right.
deviate and help them achieve their health objectives for sure. And also as a token to honor your goodwill, intention, and just spirit of community that you embody, Mother Owl. My team would like to offer a 10% discount to anyone who'd like to embark on their C60 journey by using the promo code Mother Owl.
Oh, I love it. Oh, you're so sweet. Well, that shouldn't be hard to remember. Are you going to be? Does it have to be capitals? Does it have to?
You
I'm
know,
assuming just type it in.
I think Mother Owl warrants all of the recognition, and hence all capitals does it justice.
Oh, thank you. As usual, you're leaving me speechless. I kind of, yeah, never know what to say with this stuff. Except for thank you. And I do honor you. You know that you're my brother in every way. Um, and I even as a friend, I am so proud of watching what you've done just in the 3 or 4 years. As a close friend, having and straddling those decisions to walk away from your education and where you went with your education and what you're doing to go with your guidance and follow that is it's beautiful. It's absolutely fabulous. Um, it's speechless. It's amazing that you're following your heart, and that's really what we all need to do, right?
And this community is lucky to have you,
Oh,
as you hold it very dear to your heart. You put so much attention and thought into the type of co-creators you want on here, whose message you'd like to showcase. And I haven't met Jeffrey, but I think he's got a deep appreciation for how much goodwill, how much heart you bring to his platform, his vision. Um, so thank you for all you are and all you do, and we'll continue this conversation.
we will. We will. I have no doubt there'll be another time that we do because we don't touch on it too much because these discussions are mainly based on things other than the medicine work at this time. But Vedanta also, I will just put it there, does also serve medicine as I do. So the Bufo and the combo are medicines. No, I don't. I think that's the two main ones, right?
Combo and Mufo. Yes.
Dan said, witnessing this connection is so beautiful. I love it. Thank you for both being here. It's an honor to be present with you both. So that's from Samantha to us. And thank you, Sam. Thank you so much. And we were able to do this glitch free, amazingly. So we've had a bit of a time, but it's a new platform, and of course I'm newer on the platform. So it's taken a little bit of getting used to, but we seem to have ironed out the difficulties in order to be able to successfully do the discussion on the platform tonight, and have presence. So that's beautiful, and thank you, Samantha, so much. Lots of love to you, hun. I'm living vicariously through you and Jeffrey right now, because both of you are out traveling the world at the moment, while I'm here in the cold. But yeah, so for those that are interested, please do, at the very least, go and check out the website, because I'm telling you, um, this is like no other. It is amazing, as I've expressed off and on throughout this discussion. Vedanta's given an excellent breakdown of what's going on, and yeah, we I would love for you to reach out to him, because like he said, and like I've said, you just can't fit it all into an hour. You touch the surface. It's very profound. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's healing. It's quantum physics. It's everything that you could ever imagine and more. It really is. So thank you so much, my brother. I am so happy to have had you here, and we'll be in touch soon.
Much gratitude. Thank you. Have a lovely night.
And you too. And again, I'll talk to you very shortly. Lots of love to you, Sam. And yes, we need to chat very soon. It's been far too long as you're out winging it around the world, or throughout Mexico. Um, again, living vicariously through you. But so thank you, love. Say hello to Lionel for me, and I will soon talk with you.
Okay. Bye, Mother Al. Bye,
Goodbye.
Samantha.
Lots of love.